The gymnasium of Kitagawa High School smelled of floor polish and old memories. On this cold February night in 2026, the air was thick with the weight of unspoken words and the ghosts of 30 years past. The class of 1996 had returned, seeking connection, trying to reclaim a piece of their youth. Laughter echoed off the basketball hoops, but it was fragile, trying to cover the silence of the years between. Banners with faded calligraphy hung from the rafters, relics of a time when the future was a bright, unbroken promise. Nostalgia is a powerful force, but it can also be a trap, distorting the past and erasing painful goodbyes. For some, this night was a celebration. For others, a painful reminder of what had been lost. The gym was an echo chamber, every conversation bouncing off the past. In this chamber, a single quiet moment would ignite a fire, turning a night of remembrance into tragedy. The attendees, now in their late 40s, wore name tags with their youthful yearbook photos, a cruel joke. The real people were different, faces lined with the stories of their lives. They performed a delicate dance of catching up, careful questions hiding disappointments. Beneath the surface, old dynamics began to stir. The hierarchies of high school re-emerged. The class clowns told the same jokes, the quiet students lingered at the edges, and the popular kids still held the center. 30 years melted away in a few hours. For one individual, the journey back in time would not be temporary. The past was not just a memory, it was a wound that had never healed. Tonight, that wound would be torn open. In the 1996 Kitagawa High yearbook, a photo shows two students under a cherry blossom tree, Kaito Tanaka, the baseball captain, and Hana Sato, the class president. The caption reads, "Our golden couple, Kaito and Hana. A future as bright as the spring." They were the envy of the school. Kaito, the star athlete. Hana, the brilliant leader. Their bond seemed unbreakable. Their relationship the stuff of high school legend. They studied together, shared lunches, and were seen as a single entity, Kaito and Hana. Everyone assumed they'd attend the same university, get married, and live happily ever after. But high school is fleeting, and like cherry blossoms, some beautiful things don't last. Their breakup was quiet, not dramatic. Kaito's baseball scholarship took him far away. Hana's law studies kept her in Tokyo. The distance grew, letters faded, and their future dissolved. Hana's yearbook message to Kaito was polite, supportive, but final. "Thank you for the wonderful memories. I will always cheer for you. Ganbada, Hana." Kaito never signed hers. For Hana, it was a necessary step toward her future. For Kaito, it was the moment his future began to break. He would never truly accept the loss. Their story became a memory, but for Kaito, it was a wound that never healed. The yearbook photo remained, a frozen moment of what could have been. Friends moved on, but Kaito could not. The past became his only refuge. The reunion would bring that past crashing into the present. For Kaito, it was not nostalgia. It was unfinished business, and it would end in tragedy. Hana Sato built the life everyone expected. Successful lawyer, loving wife, mother of two. Her high school days in Kitagawa were a closed chapter, a pleasant but distant memory. She was Hana Tanaka now, content in her new identity. Kaito Tanaka's life unraveled after a career-ending injury in university. Without baseball, he lost his sense of self, drifting from job to job, returning to Kitagawa alone. The confident boy from the yearbook was gone, replaced by a man haunted by regret. For Kaito, the past was not a memory, it was the only story he had. He kept his old trophies, his Letterman jacket, and the yearbook photo of himself and Hana. Hana became a symbol of the life he lost. He followed her life from afar, each discovery a fresh wound. While she built a new life, he remained stuck in the ruins of their shared past. The reunion announcement was not a chance to reconnect for Kaito. It was a chance to confront the ghost that haunted him. He saw it as an opportunity to reclaim what he believed was rightfully his. The past was alive for Kaito, and he was determined to make it real again. The collision of their two paths was inevitable. The reunion would be the spark, and Kaido was ready to ignite it. The reunion was in full swing, laughter and stories filling the gym. Hana, surrounded by friends, felt a tap on her shoulder. Kaito. He looked older, worn, but his smile was the same. For a moment she was 17 again. Their conversation was awkward, full of long pauses. Kaido spoke mostly of the past. Hana felt uneasy. He seemed trapped in a time she had left behind. Later, Hana stepped outside for air. Kaido followed. "I've missed you, Hana," he whispered, then kissed her. Desperate, demanding, full of 30 years of longing. Hana pulled away, shocked. "Kaido, no, I'm married. My life is different now." His eyes darkened, hope turning to anger. The moment he'd imagined for years ended in rejection. Hana returned to the party, shaken but determined to move on. Kaido was left alone in the cold, his last hope extinguished. He watched her walk away, the past slipping from his grasp. The rejection was absolute. The night had changed. For Kaido, there was no going back. The wound was open, raw, and bleeding. The next hours would be shaped by that pain. The tragedy was set in motion. The first clue was a photograph. Hana smiling, Kaido in the background, his expression cold and furious. The timestamp, minutes after the kiss. Police would later call it the moment obsession turned dangerous. Security footage showed Kaido buying 2 bottles of shochu at a convenience store, agitated and trembling. He wasn't numbing pain, he was fueling rage. At 11:05 p.m., he scrolled through Hana's husband's social media, studying years of family photos. Each image deepened his sense of loss and justified his growing anger. At 11:48 p.m., a hardware store receipt hammer, box cutter, gloves. The escalation was clear. Alcohol, stalking, then tools for violence. Kaido was no longer just lost in the past, he was preparing to act. The reunion was over, but his night was just beginning. The evidence would later reveal a chilling, deliberate path. The past had become a weapon, and Kaido was ready to use it. The violence began just after midnight. Fueled by rage and alcohol, Kaito drove to Daisuke Ito's home, his old friend, now seen as a betrayer. The attack was brutal, the first eruption of 30 years of resentment. Kaito then drove through the sleeping town, his mind a storm of memories and pain. He broke into the gymnasium, smashing trophies and tearing down banners, destroying the relics of his own past. It was self-destruction, an attempt to obliterate the pain he could not escape. The spree ended near the riverbank, where he and Hana once walked. Police found him in his car, staring at the water, empty and broken. He did not resist arrest. The fire was gone. The rampage was over, but the consequences were just beginning. Kaito had not reclaimed his past. He had only destroyed his future, and others. The Golden Boy's legacy was now tragedy. The ghosts of Kitagawa High would haunt the town forever. The cost of living in the past was devastation. A high school reunion should be a time for gentle reflection, a chance to reconnect and remember. But for some, the past is a battlefield, not a peaceful country. Kaito Tanaka's tragedy was not caused by a single night, but by 30 years of unresolved pain. He let his high school identity define him, turning memories into weapons. Hana became a symbol of everything he'd lost. His story is a warning about the dangers of living in the past and the importance of mental health. In silence, his isolation and resentment grew. Communities must foster safe spaces to talk about disappointment and seek help. We must learn to make peace with our past, but not live there. The person you were in high school is not who you are today. Letting go of old resentments is essential. The past should guide us, not control us. The ghosts of the gymnasium must be allowed to rest.